All right, let's wrap this up. This will be your last video. Of course, you can already tell that because there's 5 tracks listed. This whole lesson, well, as you know, lasts about 40 minutes, and then you've got your little mini quiz to do too. All right, well, here we go. So let's take a look at rock climbing and power conversion and all that kind of stuff. So 328 watts. Let's convert that to horsepower. But first thing I want you to do is take a look at this. I'm writing down the questions that I'm going to put on your little mini quiz here. There'll be about 9 of them. I got to make it 10, just for symmetry, I guess, for no other reason but symmetry. All right, so here we go. 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watts of power. Now, actually, the guy who came up with James Watt was his name. The guy who came up with horsepower, his name was Watt. And basically what he did was he put a bunch of weight on he was an Englishman, so he probably put a bunch of stone, as they would say, a weight on a draft horse, and had it plow a certain distance, and probably a few yards, and divided that by the time and said, guess what? This is our standard unit. Talk about something not based on an actual unit. He said, this is going to be our standard unit of horsepower. This horse went this far and pulled this much weight in this amount of time, so it did this much work, force times distance, did this much work, divided by this time. This will be a horsepower. And so that's what they came up with, the horsepower. And so we in our metric system we use the watts. So 1 watt then is equal to 1 divided by 1 watt. If I want to get this into horsepower, I've got to take 1 horsepower divided by 746 watts per horsepower. So that cancels. Watt comes up there, and then so I get is equal to, so 1 watt is what they say over here, 0.00134 horsepower. Okay, 0.00134 horsepower. All right, so let's take that rock climber and see how much horsepower he had. 328 watts times that little bitty number, ballpark about 0.4 horsepower. Compare that to a street legal racing car, the Ultimate Aero LTD. See, notice it can average top official speeds 256.18 miles per hour, 1,183 horsepower. Let's convert that to watts. Okay, I think that'll be a nice question at the end. Let's convert the Aero GT's horsepower of 1,000. Now, my bad rod Mazda used to, well, it's dead now, but it used to be, I think, 180 horsepower on a good day. The C-Max that my wife bought is like 190 horsepower. So this is 1,000. This is 5 times more powerful than her car, almost 6 times more powerful than her car. Okay, has more power. So how do we convert that to watts? Well, how do we convert that to watts? So, well, I was stumped there for a minute. I was sitting there thinking, so here we go. So we've got 1,183 horsepower is equal to how many watts? Well, look at this. Look at this. 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watts. So if I have this many of them, guess what I'm going to do? I can either divide by the 0.00134 horsepower per watt, which is this guy. Okay, I can either divide by that, because we're just dividing by 1, because if I take this and divide by, do that, then that cancels. So the number 1 is equal to that. Or I can just go, well, 746 is 1 watt. Should get the same thing. Take 746 times 1,183 watts per horsepower, and this would be horsepower. So the horsepower is canceled here, and we're left with watts. Let's see if we get the same number, and then we'll be done. 746 times 1,183. Whoa! 882,518 watts, or what we would probably say is 890 kilowatts. And if I take the 1,183 divided by the conversion point, 0.00134, hopefully I get the right number. Got the same number. Pretty close. 890 kilowatts. Okay, I'm going to ask you to do that in kilowatt. I'm going to ask you to take kind of a large number and convert it, or horsepower of a different car. Okay, out here, we are done. I'm starting to run out of gas and not make any sense.